I always appreciate you coming to TPA functions, Tennessee Press, and speaking.
No.
We were always there. So, yes, wanted to start off talking about some local issues.
I'll do my best
with,
to answer
with yes, with state government, some of the best things, the most important things we need from the state are help with roads, access to interstates, with internet, expanding broadband, high-speed internet, and our airport. I'm jealous that Union City just opened a 6,500 runway, and we got some work going out there to improve the tarmac some. Then we're going to be wanting some help to expand our runway a little more. Y'all were just out there and improve the building a little bit. You know, a lot of people, that's their first impression in Henry County, and we want that to be a good impression.
Right.
So anything road issues. The state's in the process of helping us with the bypass around Paris.
Right.
Our biggest need, other than completing that, in my mind, is 4-laning 641 up to the state line, and working with the state of Kentucky. And it's been going on for years, trying to get the two states on the same page.
And I think we've narrowed down the issue there. And Dave, you might be able to help me, because you had some notes on this. In terms of there's now a kind of a three-part process of buying the right of way, getting environmental impacts, and statement, and obviously putting it to bid. And you all probably are familiar with the time frame as I am, but I'll say this: we get it in terms of how important that is. And I've just recently learned the history of trying to make certain we're on the same page with Kentucky, and we're trying to get a little better there.
Right, because that gives us access to I-24.
Which makes all the sense in the world.
Right.
Yeah,
and a wonderful 4-laning going on between here and Clarksville, which helps us out.
Okay, for Glenn to come on in.
Yes, right there.
Hey,
Glenn is one of our
welcome. Glad to have you. And I think one of the ways we're going to prioritize road projects, in today's world where the money we build roads with is all fuel tax that people pay.
Right.
And the good news is everybody drives much more fuel efficient cars. The impact of that, though, is we have less revenue to build roads. So we're being forced to be more strategic. Where we're really trying to decide how to make road improvements is where we think they can contribute the most to jobs.
Exactly.
In the old days, people use roads a little bit as a political weapon. Oh, you vote for my budget and I'll put a new road in your budget. And I think now what we're seeing is transportation is such a key to job creation.
Exactly.
Before we were here, we just met with a group of 10 or 15 business representatives from kind of this greater area here, kind of 3 or 4 counties around here. And interestingly, we were asked which one of you have expanded lately. And the ones who had expanded are ones who had expanded because it made sense from a transportation standpoint to increase their business here. So an example like that where we can connect to 24, I think doesn't just make it easier to go visit your relatives.
Right. No.
It makes it much more conducive to job creation.
It sure does. And the reason I mentioned on the way to Clarksville is, of course, the semiconductor plant. Is there any way the state can help with we'd like some satellite business, some of the suppliers.
That's interesting.
Some of those things. So we're sure hoping
Hemlock is who's building up in Clarksville, making a huge, $1.5 billion plus type investment, which is great. There are some spin-off industries from that. There's not as many as there would be, say, in an automotive plant. An automotive plant, the nice thing about it is, and of course, you all have fairly good, strong automotive business around here, as it is, but the semiconductor, the solar panel manufacturing, while it spins off some, it doesn't have quite all the byproducts of a bigger.
We'd appreciate any help.
We understand, and one of the challenges right now for us is this: statewide unemployment's way too high. It's 9.5, but it's really too high in some of our more rural counties. I think here in Henry County it's about 11 or so, which is high, and some of the surrounding counties are even higher than that. And we get up around Union City and some of the impact from Goodyear, and we're feeling that. So we're doing our very best to be strategic about where we recruit. Now, end of the day, as the state, we don't always get to tell a company, oh, here, you all go locate there.
Yeah.
We're
You're
working
right.
hard
Yeah.
just to get them
Oh,
to
yeah.
Tennessee. That being said, we're trying to do everything we can to show people.
Just to help our
Here's
people.
Here's a reason you might want to consider this part of West Tennessee.
And then anything you can, our local leaders need to do
Right.
to be better
Right.
situated. You know, anything y'all can help us on that, we certainly appreciate that too.
Yeah. And I'll say this: your local representatives in Nashville, they do a good job of being the right kind of vocal about needs here, which is important.
Good, good. You got to know Tim Wargo?
I have. Tim
All
and
right.
I've been together actually most of the morning at a breakfast and a couple of meetings with some businesses that we're working on. Like I said, trying to expand their presence. And Tim is, I can promise you, he's working really hard in Nashville. I think one of the misconceptions people have is that people in the State House and Senate, oh, they have this nice job where they go down there and work a little bit and go to receptions at night. And I can assure you nothing's further from the truth.
Yeah.
Those folks make about $1 an hour by the time it's all said and done. So, the challenge for us in Tennessee is this. It's no different than here. We're trying to make Tennessee the very best location for high-quality jobs in the country. And we have a lot of strengths. We have a great work ethic of people. We have a great quality of life. We need to change some things. I mean, quite frankly, we need to make education more rigorous and raise the standards and expectations around education in Tennessee if we're going to compete. And that's fairly consistent feedback we hear from companies who are looking at Tennessee. So you've seen a lot of focus from us on educational issues. I don't think going forward it'll be so much on the legislative end of that. It'll be on the implementation. How do we really help districts be better?
That's wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. Want to change gears, but we don't have much time.
No, right.
And talk about the newspaper industry.
Yes, sir.
A little bit with
We
you.
did want to touch on I'm sure you're familiar with the Coalition for Open Government.
Yes, sir.
Along with Tennessee Press Association and the Coalition, we are concerned about what appear to be stepped up efforts in the legislature to put more restrictions on freedom of information.
Definitely. There were, 7 bills on, I keep my notes out.
Well, there was a total of 30 bills filed
about 30 bills.
in the last legislature.
That we were concerned about, and that's it's an awful lot that we had on our plate.
Not many of them, fortunately, passed, but we understand 20 of them are coming back.
A lot of them are involve public notices that are in newspapers, shifting to websites. And obviously from a business standpoint, being a small businessman, I would be concerned.
Sure.
I'm concerned about that.
Sure.
On the larger picture, people in Henry County, if they're going to be notified of what a local government or state government, somebody's doing, they're going to be finding it in the paper.
Right.
They're not going to be going to
Online,
the Secretary of State's
Right.
website, or, you know, if you look at the most visited website for us is our website.
Sure. Sure.
You know, so that's the best place to actually notify people, and we don't want to. We certainly don't want to take jobs away from private industry newspapers,
Right.
and create more state jobs to operate websites. To you know,
Right.
I don't want to take away private jobs and create more government
Well,
jobs.
and